The Batman Arkham games have an incredible gameplay loop that has only evolved and improved with each new entry, and today I want to talk about the next step of that evolution. These are some features that I would like to see in Rocksteady's next Batman game. But before I dive into it, I want to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comments below as you're listening what features you'd like to see in Rocksteady's next Batman game. Also, please consider leaving a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this. I appreciate you guys watching, and this is going to be an exciting video. We're going to be going over the Nemesis System, a companion and loyalty system, and much more. So without any further ado, let's jump right in. First up, we have probably the most fan-requested feature for the next Batman Arkham game, the Nemesis System. This is a feature that was developed by Monolith Productions, which sadly no longer exists thanks to Warner Brothers' poor financial management. Nevertheless, the Nemesis System is a really cool feature that feels like it would be right at home in a Batman game. Also, Warner Brothers has patented this system, and so Batman is one of the last opportunities we have to see this system resurrected now that Monolith is no more. The Nemesis System is essentially a procedurally generating algorithm within the game that creates encounters and enemies for you to tackle. It works like this. You're exploring the open world and you come across an enemy who can be interrogated. You interrogate that enemy and learn more about a higher level enemy. You either learn their name and location, or you learn their strengths and weaknesses so you can effectively take them on. If that already wasn't impressive enough, this system can create virtually an infinite amount of new enemies. If an enemy defeats you in combat, they become a named enemy that you can go get revenge on later. If an enemy flees from you, you can find them again later, or they can return and face you. You can be ambushed by these enemies. They will also remember your previous encounters and reference them. You'll get dialogue as specific as, "Hey, I remember fighting you on the hill back there and you shot me with an arrow." It makes the open world feel incredibly dense and alive, and it makes role-playing as the character very simple to do. The main story ends up taking a back seat to the story you're creating with the game in the Nemesis System. Imagine a Batman game that adds to this system, where now it's not just boss encounters with enemies in the open world that are randomly generated. Imagine this system including named Batman villains like Deadshot and Deathstroke. Imagine exploring Gotham City and randomly getting ambushed by Deathstroke. Maybe instead of just learning about new villains to take on, you could also learn about their schemes. Maybe there's just a procedurally generated side mission for Bane where you have to go around and destroy 6 objects he's left around the city with explosive gel. If you take down Mr. Freeze with heat batarangs and send him to Arkham Asylum, maybe 6 hours later into your playthrough, he escapes Arkham Asylum and now has a heat-resistant suit to combat your tactics. You can have a nice variety of named Batman enemies, but also street-level enemies that can evolve and grow over the game. Basically, a whole new original rogues gallery for Batman to take on that are exclusive to your playthrough. In addition to interrogating enemies, you could also solve crime scenes, and as you learned enemies' strengths and weaknesses, you could learn how to effectively take them down. This would require you to become a detective and step into the shoes of Batman before just jumping in fists blazing to take people down. Imagine how dynamic it would feel if you were patrolling the city and saw Killer Croc at a crime and decided to take your chances with a stealth takedown, only for him to grab you and throw you into a wall because one of his strengths is that he is immune to stealth attacks. Not only would this system make the world feel so much more alive, but it would also allow the story to continue even once the campaign was finished. There could technically be an endless gameplay loop here that would just continue as long as you wanted to play until you started a new game. And when you did start a new game, it would be completely different. As I mentioned, this is a procedural generator. It isn't the same static thing happening over and over again. Imagine getting to play Arkham Knight again, but the side missions have repopulated and are completely different this time around. Maybe in your first playthrough, Deathstroke shows up in hour 3 of the game, but in your second playthrough, he doesn't show up until hour 10 or 11. It would be so much fun to use this system to uproot Gotham's criminal underworld. You could even do things as interesting as intimidating enemies into betraying their bosses. You could go to confront Penguin and all of his guards could run away because you've already scared all of them out in the open world. Overall, as I said earlier, the Nemesis system would just be such a great system to integrate and evolve upon in a new Batman game. Next, we have the loyalty and companion system of the Mass Effect games, and I'm specifically thinking about Mass Effect 2. Let me explain what I'm talking about. In Mass Effect 2, a big part of the story is that you're trying to recruit members of your crew and gain their loyalty for a big final mission. So you go around the galaxy, you find people to recruit to your team, and if you want to gain their trust, you go and do a little side mission with them where you learn more about them, they get a character arc, and then they trust you and they have a higher chance of surviving the final mission. Imagine a Batman game where you are building the Bat family, and you can go recruit all the classic characters like Dick Grayson and Jason Todd and Barbara Gordon, but maybe Catwoman and Talia al Ghul and some other characters whose goals don't always align with Batman's can also be recruited into the Bat family. This could also expand upon the dual play system of the Batman Arkham games. Once you recruit a character, they can go and do dual play with you during story missions or side missions, and they can patrol with you in the open world. And if you want to gain their trust, you can go and do a loyalty mission with them. Maybe Barbara Gordon wants help taking down her psychotic brother, James Gordon Jr., or maybe Robin wants help tracking down Tony Zucco, who helped get his parents killed. Maybe Catwoman has some unfinished business with Carmine Falcone that she needs your help with. And just like in Mass Effect 2, it could be interesting to change the outcomes and stakes of these characters based on the choices you make here. Perhaps if you don't recruit a character, they end up dead, or if you don't gain their loyalty, maybe they become an enemy and join the Nemesis System and fight against you. Considering that the existing Batman Arkham games have a pretty established canon for the Bat family characters, I feel that this would work better in a rebooted continuity or a Batman Beyond game where you're building a new Bat family in the future. In either case, I do think a companion and loyalty mission would add a lot of layers to a game that would already have a campaign. We'd get a lot more character development from supporting characters, and we'd play a larger role in their outcomes. Not only would this be narratively interesting, but as you gained characters' loyalty, maybe you could unlock new abilities for them in dual play, and they could be a larger buff to you in combat. For example, maybe by completing Catwoman's loyalty mission, she learns how to pick locks better, and so rather than having to use the cryptographic sequencer to open doors, you can send Catwoman to just quickly pick the lock. The next system I want to discuss would also add a lot of choice to the game, and aptly so. It's a choice system. Now, I don't see this being something as advanced as Batman the Telltale series or Mass Effect in this regard. I don't foresee this being something where you get to choose every line of dialogue that is spoken and every direction that the game takes. They wouldn't necessarily put you in the driver's seat of the campaign, but it would be interesting to see a few choices throughout the course of the story. This could be a really simple system, like choosing which character to take on a mission with you, or choosing whether to engage with enemies in a stealthy approach or a close combat approach. Or they could make this a really extensive system where it completely changes the ending of the game. Maybe there's 5 alternate endings based on the choices you make. And also, if they paired this with the Nemesis system, you could see some really interesting results. For example, imagine a situation where Victor Zsasz is running away and you have the choice to either chase him or save a civilian. And if you chase him down, maybe the civilian dies, and later you confront an enemy in the open world who reveals that he is the brother of that NPC who wants revenge on you now. This could also add some Bruce Wayne gameplay to the game. I've seen some people request Bruce Wayne gameplay, and unless you have something like a choice system, I just don't see why you'd want something like that. But if you could choose to support Harvey Dent's campaign, or choose to support Hamilton Hill's campaign, or choose to fund the GCPD or Arkham Asylum, and the city's dynamics could change a little bit based on that, that could be interesting. Next, let's talk about a customization system of some sort. And this is another one that's very scalable. It could just be very cosmetic, but I like the idea of getting to design how not only the bat suit looks, but maybe how the Batcave looks. Maybe you get to enter kind of a build mode and build what your base looks like. Maybe you can choose to customize how the Batwing or Batboat or Batmobile looks, if there's any drivable vehicles in the game. And if they wanted to go more extensive than just cosmetics, you could do some pretty interesting changes to gameplay. Maybe you pick to wear a very heavy bat suit that helps you in combat. You can take a lot more hits, but you can't glide as quickly. Maybe you choose to wear a much lighter suit that makes you a lot faster at combat, but now you can't carry as many gadgets with you. Now, this is a system that they'd have to be very careful with, because I could see this ruining the flow of gameplay. I know that personally, the customization of Gotham Knights did not redeem a lot of the flaws that I had with that game. But if done right, this could be an interesting way, again, to engage the player with some choice and agency. And that is a common theme that I'm noticing in each of these features that I want. The tagline for the Batman Arkham series is "Be the Batman," and I just like to see more features that allow me to live out that fantasy. And on that note, let's discuss the final feature I would like to see in Rocksteady's next Batman game. And that is an official story creator mode, or official mod support. These are features that can be oddly controversial. Oftentimes when developers add features like this in, players will complain, hey, you don't want to develop any new content, so you're just having the community do it for you. My counterpoint is that if tomorrow I announced that I was making a Batman fan game, I would get a cease and desist letter within the hour probably. You are not really allowed to reutilize these IPs in a fan-made basis. There are a lot of people in the Batman fan community that would love to be able to tell stories within a Batman game, but just don't have the legal right to do so. So by adding some kind of official support for a feature that allows you to do just that would be incredible. Imagine going to an official website where you get to customize your own quest in Batman Arkham Knight. You could create your own Hush side mission, or someone could go really extensive and recreate Batman The Long Halloween in video game form. If they opened up the entire engine for official mod support, we could see everything from new Riddler challenges to whole new features and cosmetics in the game. Personally, I think that would be super cool. If Batman Arkham Knight had a feature like that, trust me, I would be pumping out new Batman game content as often as I could, and I'd be playing other community-created content as often as I could as well. I just think that the Batman community is a great place to introduce a feature like this. There would be a lot of life and activity and support, and I think we'd have a lot of fun as a community playing each other's content within the Batman IP, and none of us would be getting cease and desist letters because it's officially supported by Warner Brothers. But that's my list for you today. Again, please be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and let me know in the comments below what features you would like to see in the next Batman game, and what did you think of my list of features? Thank you again for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.